Hi, Mario.
I don't know if anybody else is going to be on.
Why is that?
But Harold answered he couldn't, and Johnny also answered that he couldn't at 9. And Walter didn't answer, and Kenny didn't answer. I don't know. And Genawa didn't. I send him a text every time. I spoke with Eliezer. It's okay. He had some procedure done, but he was going to be back hopefully yesterday, on Friday, but he wasn't.
Okay. Okay, we're on 96.
Yeah.
If a person is trying to collect a certain amount of money that equals the value of the land and the improvements, so then he collects everything. But in the case where the amount is only the amount of the land, then he takes only the land and not the improvements. We're talking about a case where there's a creditor and he comes to the guy who owes him the money, and the guy doesn't have any money, and he had sold a piece of land to somebody else. So the creditor can go to the guy who had bought the piece of land and take it. Now, is the guy who bought the land allowed to give the creditor money and let him keep the land? So according to the opinion says he's not, and the creditor is allowed to just take the land. Shapir. Elamanda Amar. According to the pshat, that the purchaser of the stolen land or the land owned by a debtor can get rid of the creditor by giving him money. If I had enough money, I'd give you enough to keep all of my land. But hashta, havli at least, let me keep a piece of land that's equal to the amount of I invested in the improvements. This is a case where the original borrower had appointed the piece of land as a clear place for the lender to collect from. In that case, the guy can't chase him away with money. Somebody stole a piece of land, invested in it, improved it, and then sold it. Or or he died and it left it over to his children.
Ernie, didn't we say yesterday that land you cannot steal?
Well, it's Einon Exelis. Or let's say it's not right now. Let's say it's not a piece of land, it's something else, but he invested in a piece of wool and he dyed it.
Okay.
So when the guy who was stolen from gets his item back, he has to give the Goslin the money that the guy invested in the improvement. Boy, Rav. What if some third party bought it and he improved it? Does that shvach have to be returned? So Basar to buy other pashte. After he asked the question, he answered. Ma rishon l'sheni. When you sell something, you sell kol schus shetovah, all rights that accrue to it. So since the gazlan itself can improve something, when he sells it, he can sell that right to do it. Boy, Rav, mishbeach goy mao. If a goy invested, does he get to keep the shvach? The Chacham did made a takana to help a non-Jew. It was sold by, it was bought by a Jew. Sof abamach was goy. Hareu kegoy. If he bought it from a goy, it's got the same thing as if it was the goy. Lo tzricha kegon shegazel Yisrael. A Jew stole it. The zavna niala and sold it to a non-Jew. Vishbicha goy, the goy invested and improved it. V'hadar goy v'zavna Yisrael. The goy sold it back to a Jew. My. Yamiran kiven to me kari Yisrael. V'hadar Yisrael avir abarim takonta. Since it started off in a Jew's hand and ended up in a Jew's hand, we do have the takana that he can keep the shvach. Oy dilma kiven deika goy be'emtza love the abarim takonta. Maybe there's no takana that the Gazlan can keep the improvement. Take. Amrav Papa. Hi man the Gazal dikla mechavre ktale. A person bought a palm tree and then cut it down. Avagav the sharim arla ardi day. And even though he replanted it into his own land, lo kani. It's not a shinui. My time, and mikar dikla mikra, or shanami dikla. It's still called a date tree, palm tree. So there's no shinui. So he doesn't acquire it. Let's say he stole dikla of a guvi. He chopped it up into pieces. Also lo kani. Hashtamias goivi de dikla mikri. It's still called pieces of palm. But if he stole goivi, vavdik shuri, you stole pieces and you made it into planks, so then he's coining it because there's a shinui. Shuri ravari, vavdik shuri zutri. You bought large planks and you made it into small planks like kani because it's still called the same name. But avdina kutsusayu, if you made beams out of it, kani. Amarava, Hayman the gazel lulvi, vavdina hutsi. You stole the lulav, you made leaves out of it. Kani. The mikara lulvi mikri, v'hashta hutsi. It was called a lulav, now it's called leaves. Hutsi vavini chupi. You stole leaves and you made like a broom. Kani. Mikara hutsi, hashta chupi. Has a different name. You stole chupi. V'avdi sharshura. You make a rope. My time, you can undo the rope and put it back into like broom material. Boy Rav Papa. Nechlekat yomis. The lulav, the top of it, the upper leaf split. Mao. Toshma. Shamrav Masram Yeshua ben Levi. Nitelas atumis. Puzzle. You can't. It's a puzzle lulav. And my lav huadin lenechleka. The same thing if it's split. Lo nitla shiny. It's worse if it was removed. The hachasr lo. It's missing. Ikedi amri toshma amrav moiser amri Yeshua ben Levi. Nechleka atyomis nasa kamisha not love apostle. It's the same. Whether it's split or removed, it's a new thing. Shmami no. Amrav Papa. Hi man, the gazel afra mechavre va'avdi levinta. You stole dirt, you made a brick. Loy kani. My time. The other mashvile afra, you could chop the brick into its component parts and you still have dirt. But if you stole a brick, ava leventa, va'avdi afra, kani. You stole a brick and made afar your koine. It's a shinui. My amrit, why can't you build a new brick? Yeah, high levinta achrisihu, but that's a new brick. Uparim chadoshos ba'olakan. So it's a new creation. Amrav Papa Ayman the Gazel Naska Mechavre Avid Zuzi. You stole a golden bar and you made coins out of it. Loikani. My timer. Other Avid Luniska, you could melt down the coins and make a bar. But what if you stole coins, Zuzi Vavdinu Niska, and you melted it down and you made a gold bar. My Amrit. Kani. You do acquire it. My Amrit. Other Avid Zuzi. You can make coins again. If you do, Porim Chadoshes Paulaka. It's a new thing. Shchimi Vavdinu Chadchadati. The coins were black and you shined them. It looks new. Loi Kani. But Chadati Vavdinu Shchimi, if they were new and you made them black, Kani. My Amrit, Hadar Avidu Chadati. Maybe Yodashi Chamayu. You can always still see the black in it, even if you try to clean it. Ze'aklal. This is the general rule. Kol hagazlonim mishavim k'shas hagzela. You pay to the person you stole from the value of the item when you stole it. Ze'aklal lasui mai. What does it come to include? Lasui adam rabbi lo. Ganav tlev v'naseh ayim. You stole a sheep, it became a ram. You stole an egel v'naseh shor. You stole a calf, it became an ox. Nasa shina biyada v'kana. You acquire it because it's a shina. Therefore, tovach u'machar, if you shechted or sold, shelo tovech, shelo u'machar. And you don't have to pay dal v'hei. Ahu gavra, the gazel padena, the tor mechavre. A person stole a whole bunch of cows from his friend. Ozal karbu karva, zarbu zara. He plowed a field with these cows and planted seed. L'sov adrina lamore. He gave the cows back to the owner. Also, kamed Rav Nachman. Armalu zilu shumu shvacha da ashbech. Go calculate how much the improvement was during the time that you used the ox, and the gadol has to pay that too. Armalei Rava Tori ashbach arloy ashbach. It wasn't just the cows that changed, it's the land that changed. So Amar mi kamina neshama kula palga kamina. That means don't give the whole shvach, just half. Armalei sof gzelu kadr be'enei. But the oxen were stolen, you got to return it. Disnan, kol hagazloim mishamim shasa gzela. Why do you have to add half of the shvach? When I'm sitting in judgment, you're not supposed to sort of disturb me. I and Shmuel have the same authority. This was a gazlan that he stole all the time. So this is not me'ikra dim. I'm giving him a special fine because he was doing this all the time. Gazal behema v'iskina. He stole an animal, became old. Avodim, he stole avodim v'iskinu. So mishalim kishasa gzela. You pay what they were worth when you stole it. By an eved, you could just give it back to him. You stole a coin and got a crack. Peiros kivu. You stole fruit, they rotted. You stole wine, veichmitz. So misham kishas agzel, you have to pay the way it was worth when you stole it. But madbea v'nifsal, you stole a coin and the government said doesn't have any currency anymore. Truma v'nitmes. You stole truma, it became tameh. These are halachic disqualifications. If you look at the item itself was not damaged. Behema v'nisabda ba'avera. Somebody slept with the behemoth or worshipped it. Comes usher. Or shenifsal magabi mizbeach. It develops some psul that you can't offer as a korban. Or it's taken out to be killed. Or even though they don't have any value, you can give the animal back to the original owner and you fulfilled giving it back. It doesn't mean he got old. It lost weight. So that's a shinui. It says he got old. The kochsher kagon iskina, he became thin, like as if it was old, but hadar bari, but he can get fatter again. Amarle Mark Shisha braid Rav Gisel Ravashi. Hachi kamer mishmeid Rav Yechna. Filu gon of klev and atza ayim. If you stole a sheep, it became a ram. You stole an egel of an asa short. You stole a calf, it became an ox. Nasa shinu biyado. It's a shinui, and he acquires it, a kno. So therefore, tovach umachar, shalo tovach, shalo umachar. He doesn't have to pay the daveh because it's his own. Amar le v'chilav aminullah, lo tichlav gavri. When you say over halacha, don't mix it up. Homish made Rav Lo Yitmar. Was not Rav Yochanan. Rav Meir Oimer ba'avodim. If you stole an eved and got sick, you can give the eved back. And you fulfilled your din. Rav Meir. The Rav Shavik Rabbanon, the Avik Rav Meir. Rav left the majority and went to Rav Meir. Amri Mishum Shabraisa Ipchatani. He had an opposite Braisa. The Rav Shavik Mastis Vavik Braisa. Rav didn't learn like a Mishnah and he followed Braisa. Mishnah is more authoritative. So Rav Matzisanami Ibchatani, he had the reverse sheet in the Mishnah as well. Umay time at the Rav Da'apik Matzis Mekami de Braisa. What forced Rav to switch the Mishnah and not switch the Braisa? Other Rav Nepech the Braisa Mekami Matznisim. Let him switch the Braisa. Amri Rav Nami Matznisim Ibcha Asnei. He reversed both. Viboy Seima Kilo Apichada Mekami Chada. But if you have one Braisa or one Mishnah, you don't switch. But if you have two, you do switch. The Tanya. Amachliv para b'chamor. You traded a para for a donkey, and then Yalda, the para gave birth. You sold the shivcha and the children. Ze oimer b'shusa Yalda. The children gave birth when the shivcha was in my possession. V'aloi shoisek. The other one is quiet. Zachaba, the one who said that it was in my rishus, he gets the child. Ze oimer ani yodeh v'ze omer ani yodeh. They both say, I don't know. So yachloiku. Ze omer b'shusi v'ze omer b'shusi. Each one says it was my rishus. Yishava moicher sheb'shusa yodeh. The moicher swears that it was his rishus, and the Vladim stay with him. When you swear and you don't pay. And the Moicher had the chazaka of the animals in his possession, so if he swears, he doesn't have to give up the animal. We don't take a shvua on avodim and on land, only on metaltalim. So the Gemara says, "Hi, Allah, Rab Meir." It's Allah Rabbanim aboile. So hachim cover lemay dav chitzu v'tanisu. Why do we switch the Mishnah? That Rav Meir says shachal fanecha. We should say Allah Rav Meir. Okay, we'll stop here. So tomorrow we'll learn at 7:30.